Welcome back to Digital Futures Education. In today's video, I'm going to give you an inside look into one of my IT boot camps. In this IT boot camp, students are going to be answering questions to address the domains of CompTIA A+ certification. Students are in small groups, and after a scenario-based question is asked, they will be asked to identify the proper solution based on the CompTIA A troubleshooting methodology. An extra bonus to this boot camp is that I have IT professionals prepared to help evaluate their answer and to provide real-world expertise on the questions and on the responses from the students. So I hope you enjoy this video, and please pay attention to the different domains we delve into that are connected to CompTIA A, how students attempt to answer these questions using the troubleshooting methodology from CompTIA A, and how the insight from IT professionals can really add to the experience of being in an IT boot camp to help improve students' troubleshooting and knowledge of computer hardware and software. During the video, you'll see on the bottom of the screen different questions provided to help address a domain area. You will also see, when students start to answer the questions, the recommended answers provided at the bottom of the screen. As you watch, evaluate the answers of the students yourself and see how closely they come to the recommended answers. So I hope you enjoy this insight into an IT boot camp in which students have an opportunity to develop their skills, review their concepts and understanding of computer hardware and software as it relates to CompTIA A. And also, I hope you enjoy the insight and professional experience that my IT support professionals provide.
For the students who don't know me, I'm Dan Downs, public schools. I worked at Bunker Hill about 11 years, 12 years. I teach the CompTIA A course, and I also teach some programming courses, like the Linux course, part-time, some other community colleges in the past. I do some curriculum development as a contractor for different schools, but I'm really glad to have such a good group. I think we're going to have some fun today. Troubleshooting, going over some of the core competencies of CompTIA A in a way that you can kind of begin to express your understanding. And even for those who aren't taking the CompTIA A, it's a really great opportunity to kind of learn the troubleshooting methodology of CompTIA A, which is super important. What we're really focused on today is just to give you kind of an overview of quick CompTIA, just to kind of give you an idea of what the program's like and what the students are working on. I'm just going to quickly show you the portal that they've been using, just for students who may be interested in doing it in the future. The CompTIA A portal is how we deliver the content. And just to give you a quick picture of the domains that the students are studying in the CompTIA A+ certification. So in CompTIA, these are the main domains and categories: installing motherboards, connectors, system devices, troubleshooting PC hardware, comparing local network hardware, a lot of networking, virtualization concepts, mobile devices, print devices, Windows, managing Windows as a user and as an admin, OS types and features, open source, and Windows and Mac OS, supporting Windows. It's a very robust certification, especially for someone entry level. But I feel like it's a great program too, in that it gives you all the essentials. So in terms of getting started. So if maybe you've never done an IT associate's or bachelor's before, this gives you a very strong base. And it gives you a base to if you were to go for an interview as an entry-level technician, you have these topically in your wheelhouse. If someone's going to ask you, have you ever, understand the difference between the user privileges or the admin privileges in an organization, you can kind of speak to them. And there's also a very helpful unit on implementing operational procedures. So it's a good mix of soft skills and hard skill knowledge. And ultimately what it does is prepare you to take the A+ exam. So they also provide, mapping course content, places to do study notes, develop study plans. So the course comes with a lot of resources to help you be successful. Even if you're not in the class at the time, you can do a lot of work on your own. You can complete assessments, you can kind of go back, take assessments, and improve continuously. So what we're going to try to do today is we're going to go through a series of technology, IT questions, scenario-based questions. They're pretty short scenario-based questions, but in answering the questions, we're going to be using a rubric for evaluating the troubleshooting methodology, which is a key part of the CompTIA A program, is that when you're addressing questions, you're addressing them through the lens of the troubleshooting methodology. And that's essentially identifying the problem. So you're going to have a scenario. Your goal is to identify the problem, identify the main issue, consider the symptoms, use your analysis and logical reasoning to analyze the situation effectively, think about potential causes. The knowledge of the CompTIA A domains is essentially understanding the technical piece. Are they talking about servers? What would be the next step with that? Are they talking about mobile devices? What would be the next level of information with that? Thinking about the technical knowledge that you need to solve the problem. Next step is structured troubleshooting. So how are you, with your technical knowledge, going to develop a solution? Once you've thought about the solution, it's proposing a solution that's effective and viable for the problem in itself. It's considering the environmental factors, the feasibility and practicality. And that's going to differ based on the scenario, right? And then, of course, making a recommendation for preventing the problem in the future, right? So you're going to have a problem. You're going to identify what the problem is. You're going to analyze what the situation is. Then you're going to use your technical knowledge. Then you're going to look at the troubleshooting you're going to prioritize how you're going to address the problem, and you're going to propose a solution. But at the same time, you're going to also look to prevent it in the future. So I think what you'll see is every problem will kind of state the main problem, but you're going to need to think about the environmental factors and where to start. And so the folks from Citizens are going to be our judges. As you go through questions, they're going to score each group individually, so that on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, because I know I didn't put that on the score sheet, and 1 being a lower level score. But ultimately, I'll give you 5 minutes for each question, probably a little bit less. I'll probably put a timer up on the board. And then what you're going to do is, even after I have a shared Google Doc for you to make a copy of. So to put your score. So let's go ahead and take care of that right now. I put this link. So if the students in the pairs could go to the student response template, and then you only need 1 for your team. So just so when we do a question, remember to say what color you are so they can know too as the scores. So I'm going to give you about 4 minutes per question. And once you get a question, you're going to have your template. I would also recommend that, because you're ultimately going to have to speak to the CompTIA people to kind of present your answer. Yeah. So you might want to think about short, concise bullets that are more valuable than maybe a long narrative on any one part. And then after 5 minutes, we're going to probably go around 30, 40 seconds each person. And is that score sheet working for you guys now? Okay, fantastic. And they're going to rate your responses 1 to 5 for each question. The first question, here we go. It's network troubleshooting. A small business has recently expanded its office space and added new workstations. However, employees in the new section of the office are experiencing intermittent connectivity issues. The network was previously stable and fast. So for this question, just think about the problem, what technical components you want to be looking at, what you think will be solutions, potentially what could be issues that might not be the same solutions, and propose a longer term solution to kind of prevent the issue. And I do expect that you all have a different range of what you would start identifying as the issue. So why don't you take a minute or two, and then I'll ask if you guys need little hints, just to kind of help. If you see something that you feel like is your own industry knowledge you want to add to the kind of their solution, a suggestion, maybe we'll do it at the very end. We'll kind of do a little review of questions and maybe let you guys kind of speak to these types of problems, like what you see maybe are issues when this type of stuff happens, really, in your workplace. But these questions do challenge them, particularly with probably remembering the technical piece. How widespread is the issue? Was there a report that could give more information? What would be? Be sure to think about the technical piece too, like what ultimately from CompTIA A, for those in the CompTIA A class, like what kind of technical components should you be checking? I think that's a big part of this. Your response is completely different than someone who may have any other experience. But the good thing about CompTIA A is it definitely, if you commit to the program, you'll have the knowledge. Like you may not have as much hands-on, but like you can speak about it. You can do a little bit more on your own. Blue team, here they go. All right. I'm going to give you a minute starting now.
So yeah, based on the scenario, like that we're dealing with, so we go into the pathology and help look for the so it's like check the motor, check that like there's like the like wires or that's not properly connected, and then like test computers the there that's not working. CompTIA test the good that we've started. And let it go to be properly documented, just be like software and words and like properly like downloaded. From there, we would just like kind of test the theory, reset the network, and from there, try to see the stable network.
Okay. All right. What's your color? Just to confirm. Red team.
Whatever.
That's okay. Give us what you got.
Like we have to think it.
We'll just speak to what you think the solution would be, where you would start with the solution and where you would finish.
Because they said that investment existing qualities already like also have issues. We assume it's all in the extended space and the new workstations. So we figured there was parents with the free thought friends over the so worried which gave that source back to the board to send one server out to thing actually coming back
on the network.
Where you check the those, see what's about, because everybody else is up, the connection's fine. Like the board now.
All right, Hector. Yellow.
So section the same, like I said.
Make sure you add to it. They want you to know that what you think.
Well, I guess I'll start.
Yeah. So, yep.
Obviously there were no activities before they moved into the of the office. So, led me to believe that the issue was within space, their office. So, first thing you would do is space, before moving into space, what was the size of the connectivity line for? Was it stable? The answer would be, was fine before you moved in. And there, you would just work on what the problems could be. I thought maybe a line of signal getting it into the space, maybe a faulty cable or maybe a broken component. And you would exactly one of those, if you have one and it turns out it's not that with a theory, that's the right word. One theory that turns out, it's not bad, or that the swell one, it's not a faulty cable, okay, but just being signal reach the section or it's not something.
All right. Your color to start. Green team. All right. What are you feeling?
I don't really want to.
Oh, that's okay. What's your thought?
I go off like troubleshooting it. Basically, this method works last started.
You can always call on your teammate too.
So that wife have some is the freelance or some hardware or the night both there. But while there's either people is what functioning less, so they may be having some activity for so you try to we say that what I want to see to choose help.
Okay. All right. Citizens team here. How do you feel about these responses? Pros and cons. What were some of the things they said that you felt were, parts of their responses were pretty good, things that they're, on the right track, and how realistic is this issue from like an entry-level IT point perspective?
I like the, team sort their first ones out, maybe say, to check that like different laptops should and then check like his wires. Like I wish a lot of people would say this. I think they check like to make sure it's not just your device, and then when the red mentioned, they need to make sure that it's a connection there. So but a lot of people they're also good chat.
And how realistic, I know in my job, this is a pretty realistic scenario. Sometimes like general areas have specific issues with connectivity, and the scenario based definitely kind of like, just to have you all recognize with the scenario, there's usually like a driver to the scenario, right? Based on the specific instance. And then you can kind of have to pull out the technical pieces to that's the challenge. Okay. All right, are we ready for question 2? So, operating system failure. I'm sorry, wrong one. Operating system failure. Sure. An employee reports that their Windows 10 computer is frequently crashing with a blue screen of death, BSOD. The crashes seem random, but they mention it often occurs when using graphic-intensive applications. Just remember, you can always use that troubleshooting methodology sheet that was shared on the student response if you want to add to your. Make sure you also think about how you're going to address the future too.
All enough.
So for example, if it helps to keep this open, I'll add this stuff to our drive. But if having the troubleshooting methodology helps you, just think about your response. That's the link to this document, okay?
Yeah, just next month date.
Just remember that.
Well, that doesn't only
It's a subcontract rate. Yeah.
This is a good classic question.
I always see.
Moving, we want to keep moving. 30 seconds to tighten up your answer. 15 seconds. No. Maybe after another question. We'll reverse it after. I want them to get used to your colors on the score sheet. You're green.
Is we're blue?
Blue. I keep thinking the last one's green. All right, blue team.
That's me.
Blue team's going to give us their 1 minute, solution.
Okay, so obviously the problem with this because so we said that we have to tell like the now like we have hardware, memory, software issues, and to kind of troubleshoot that we have to run a diagnostic of hardware or chip hardware, also where the content extractions to kind of like test if it's working. I guess like try to like turn it on, turn it back on, and then if that's the issue, then we try to like reinstall the software.
I think to add on to it too, because it's when you're using a graphic application, I think it's leaning more towards that it's like a problem with the memory because you use a lot of memory. So maybe we could also install
More what?
our
What's it? Red. Okay. All right. What's your color again? Just for our judge. Red.
do. Yeah, we can obviously mention
Tell us everything. Your solution in its whole.
what blue screen, which is very defending, and they are it often occurs when you use graphical themselves like application. So our steps would be you always get a QR code. So our steps would be to scan QR code to get more specifics on the problem and see why it's crashing, or go to the application of the application website, check for a problem specification.
And the QR code might give you
Like
or a specific code to check on the website.
so we figured before we start doing the proposition, make a backup, check if our GPU for that machine is compatible with the application. But it's like not, we would place the draft.
Very good. Color, Hector, what's yellow team?
So obviously the implement. So PC crashes or has the way you open up an app that's spread. It's already in my mind of thinking we start, but first you could check to if your system does have at least the required spec. You use set application that way, it's all good there. We again fire queue. And if you are still crashing, then again could be an issue with the graphics card, probably will driver or something faulty inside of it. I also said maybe it's not dead, but it's working just fine. It could be something else, say maybe power supply, maybe not providing enough outlet to the graphics card. And so if that's the case, you would check or just check both components, see if they're working. And if it turns out that they are, then most likely would just need the power supply not having enough one. So you just simply tell the customer your system already get power, which gets you.
What's your color again? I'm gonna skip my colors. Go for the gold.
So basically, I the same idea.
It's okay, but you get to present it your way, because if you've noticed, everyone kind of focuses a little bit on different parts of the methodology. So they're all in here. So it's okay to repeat certain parts.
The goes and when this active application is where is the color of the web. So I will try to keep track of the usage of the RAM to see if it one or something. If it's okay, I will find another possibility, which will be the GPU, so to see if it's the or not. And the last thing I'm trying is the power support.
Very good. Citizens team here, you have any suggestions or thoughts on their responses? Or, I'm sure you've probably seen this in your workplace. What have you seen done in your workplace to solve this? What are they?
Usually plastic exceptions, Instagram driver doesn't for an issue, whether it's a recent update that's maybe a little buggy still or dated. So usually looking down to that. So focusing on the graph as far as good stuff.
Right. All right. And we'll go in the opposite direction for the next question. So everyone feels like they can have a chance to be the first one to say certain parts. But good job. Lots of good topics there. All right. So that for the next one. All right. Security threat response. A company discovers that several files on their network storage have been encrypted and a ransom note has been left demanding payment.
What happens?
All right.
Oh yeah, it's a just so like this.
Using your phone. No cheating. No cheating. Try not to cheat. Use your methodology and think about what you know. 1 more minute.
That's very
Yeah, I think that's it on this one.
20 seconds, and we're going to go in reverse order. What's your color again? Yellow? Are you guys yellow? Green. I'm wrong every time. I can't win with the colors. Yeah. Brian, I know your names. So what do you think? Security threat response. A company discovers that several files on their network storage have been encrypted and a ransom note has been left demanding payment.
So all should be ransom where and how should it be trying to be complete file that any backup resolution to see time and see that's mostly the week there's no trigger like how long we change the payment and set up online setting up the training for employee and maybe set up firewalls.
All right. Very good. Yellow.
Yeah, this I was gonna say obviously it is ransomware given the fact that all the storage that's pretty much all done with the not being loud. You would just again seek support our cover as another one I said, and really all you do is color really I guess initiating more site business towards search on network. Yeah, that's all that.
All right. Adrian, color team, red team.
The walk of the gate. At the top of the system files have been infected at fencing of lost and estimated rates. It's about getting somewhere. Some we have still applying. We need to apply it. Configure this components to change permission to data that is within the disk. Hard drive or reset password to prevent data from being accessed again contributed. And then from future, I think we can start motion on state mode and enable or disable the rest.
All right. Anything else? You good? All right. Very good. All right. Blue team.
So obviously the issue is that the security threat should be encrypted. So what we decided to do was obviously the first thing I'll just recognize the scope of the issue and then try to attain the threat. So let's model that threshold. This noise doesn't affect anything else. And basically the next step would try to remove it by installing antivirus security. The next step would be to put it as recovery, so try to restore infested DOM. We just use any valuable or they were able to get something that isn't supposed to be in there. And then the last one would be to kind of do an investigation on the range to make sure that they weren't supposed to be there, but mostly to prevent it from happening in the scene.
All right. Fantastic. Citizens team, you want to give us a little just kind of response on this one? How realistic is this? And do you have any experience with seeing this before?
no personal experience in both, but I like the most what's about the isolate the devices that are app stuff like that. So that should be the first step. Like running antivirus software, trying to come bonding.
And the proactive piece, right? Like being,
Like that's the thing coming up with like to prevent things like this happening again. So are really important stuff. So making sure everyone's trying, don't fall position, understand things like that, and having procedures in place quickly active future if someone else is doing.
It is really important, and that becomes like an organizational issue. So having the experience, then learning how to be proactive about the experience. Next question: mobile device management. An organization has implemented a bring your own device BYOD policy. Employees are reporting various issues, from connectivity problems to security concerns. All right. Mobile device management, BYOD policy, concerns around connectivity and security. And a note on this with CompTIA A is big on understanding mobile device management and understanding different types of device policies for organizations. So those who aren't in the course, yeah, it's cheaper for them if they think they can manage the devices because they know they buy laptops. And you can put them on their network and you control the network.
So that's it.
Yeah. So like even in schools, we have students who don't want to use maybe the school's device. So we put them, but we need them on our network so that we can filter them.
Why?
Yeah. I mean,
They don't get 5 for excited about it.
you could, but you would want to be on their network. Yeah. So you wouldn't have,
It's like a whole nother.
yeah. And they wouldn't really be liable if you brought like a hotspot or anything and kind of create your own access. I do the same thing with students. We have a student network. We actually had a password get leaked this past week, and the students all joined a different network. And it was a network that we use for like our boards, right? And so what we're experiencing issues now is that we had 2 firewalls, and one of the firewalls was like an extremely effective kind of firewall that really was very detailed and specific. And Google's products are very like nuanced, and Google we use for everything. So a lot of the students were experiencing issues with Google applications because they'd flipped over to this network. So what happens is we're kind of just now navigating and turning that network they moved to the student network because it's just easier. But when we roll out devices again, we'll probably have them all authenticate again onto a new network. But it's creating a little, just because it's a different set of firewalls. And we're legally compliant to filter them a specific way since they're students.
And I can do that.
So think about the difference between BYOD and if you have a device from an organization.
With ours.
If they provided you the device, what are the considerations? Like the group chat on Google?
No,
It was so
Duo Mobile. It's probably a service that manages your access to the network,
Yeah.
but that's their way of controlling that's their way of seeing where you go, what you do,
It's from six.
Okay. The pandemic brought about a lot more of that to the point where because people working from home, managing their time, AI will do the same thing. You'll have like an AI coach,
So yeah.
and that coach will be like your friend, but probably also someone monitoring how you interact. They'll be with you all the time. They'll say, "Are you sure that's how you want to solve that problem?" Everyone will have an AI coach soon, right? A good friend watch you at Citizens. It's gonna happen soon, but they'll do all the hard work for you until you're not needed anymore. They'll do some whatever they'll do the initial analysis after you've given it the first run through. I mean, it'd be nice for a while, but then it will be like, boy, we can do this. AI coaches.
Were you there?
All right, 1 more minute, and then we'll go the same order we went last time, and hopefully we'll get through 10. We'll get through 10 questions. I hope that would be good. All right, another 20 seconds or so. That's good. Some good collaboration.
Yeah.
I would say don't use the internet, but then most people at their jobs use it. So it's more about the solution, all the phases of the solution too. Like what's your suggestions? You know, the preventative stuff, the environmental stuff, because you can Google all these environments, but then it's how they blend together, scenario-wise. And CompTIA is big on letting you know different types of environments. And the questions are even, for those in the class, you know, it's even more layered than this. These are kind of like just multi-layer. They get a little bit more scenario-based, even deeper than this. All right, 15 seconds, then we'll start with color. I'm trying to remember their color.
They're green. Yeah.
Green? You guys agree? Green. All right, green, yellow, red, blue. Green team, how are we doing? What are we thinking here with the BYOD policy? What?
I would beautiful properly tell you about the people to be able to have the flexibility of participating for all security issues. That would probably the nicer, so it probably allow faith systems so that everything is solved and allow the bias for its property so you will have one security concept is.
Okay. You guys good? All right. Yellow. What are you thinking? BYOD, internet connectivity issues, security concerns.
Yeah. So, employees are bringing in their own devices again, phones or laptop, and someone to be education network, and they're having these problems. Well, they first take out something wrong with networks. You would just shut it down, performance there, see if everything's on it. And regarding security concerns, we got a side reason. Is also loading up with security concerns, but there could be issues with somebody trying to get into the system. And we'll put the out in there, especially first. We'll give it that their own device dark and then it's work. So in the future, again, it's not that they send the last. I think the last lecture is where they put more security measures, be sure that people aren't working on supervision remotely, but enforce a policy on how people can feel more like that some of the first format was where they're connected to the organization.
Then it's kind of like the best of both worlds. They have their own device, but then, everyone has their own device.
Yeah, in some cases as well, there's really no solution that, you do have the white as well first. It's privatized.
Yep. All right. Red.
I think the problem is connectivity problem. The company using the what's policy, we said that to check that the devices are configured on organization network with proper certificates of the devices. Make sure it's registered with the firewall device to connect to the network, and then to just ensure that it's secure enabled device that digital management the company uses to restrict features of camera and stuff like that. You can also take data onto the company cloud, like applications with Google.
Keep something more secure.
So that it's better for management and they access it on other accounts. You can also leave files taking home, any that it's still sitting on the device while you're at home in a network domain. So you can implement the soft password other access. Health and safety.
Restricted the ability to gain up this in the company that we exist this week. Then use the video regarding the video content so that they're not exposed.
Okay. So
they're setting.
So think about how applications are used inside and outside, whether or not that is different types of data that could expose you. All right, blue team. Yeah, you can improve. Now that you know it, you can improve.
It's not fair. It's not work.
Well,
you get it.
Yeah, it's basically what things.
No, you give us I want you to have yours.
In the sense of trying to create your space where it's what they was on at work is what they do. What logging samples on at what time and what they're doing at that time and restricting different applications and things so that they just do large things. But to the security problems, that's a big format conversation, an environment or where the devices are things to watch.
Citizens, you want to add a little bit onto what you've heard them speak to, and what's the authenticity of this type of issue, and what what have you seen maybe in terms of security concerns within me? Are you able to bring your own device to work?
Bring a sharp stuff. We can't work with our lab in personal laptops, but now we're use like Teams and emails on listen to just like copy paste it from emails and stuff like that. Search it or something like that, which makes sense. All the documents are labeled, all messages or like what going to on things like make sure you don't have security risks, you know, in your life on whatever the servers or where Florida States. But
how about with security concerns? Anything specific like that you've seen, like someone concerned about their information? Because people feel a lot of freedom with a BYOD, but at the same time, you know, they have to maybe access a cloud service, you know, third-party service. You know, have you heard any concerns with that? Like, because this is kind of a broad question.
I know, like, do you like multi-factor authentication? Or like the type of applications that we use on our phone? So yeah, I think like that could be like an example of one.
That's good, yeah. And connectivity problems. Does anyone have thoughts about the connectivity issue maybe coming from, of course, maybe a separate network specific for?
Yeah, actually actively.
Okay.
Yeah. Work. So my job is fully remote, wireless, and you have to log in either when you in my line, like on the my device, but you don't have to use this for even this your own Wi-Fi, you have to go to the.
And do you use an additional piece of software, like an institutional, like monitoring software around the work you do, like while you're working from home at all?
Everything is a bit so good. Either some of the the security checking type updates, and
Constantly.
we're also being told there's a managed see on enterprise level. So there's a basically policy that where you can use your network you should be using. For example, our 1200 Wi-Fi, even this and you're not allowed to bring your line overseas unless you was specialized edition. And then there's many computers. We have constantly phishing emails that it's like upwards. You get those, right? And it's like you didn't answer that.
Yeah.
No words we've written out, but we have a lot of secure updates going on.
So they send you test emails?
They do.
Yeah.
Very often.
Wow.
Yeah, and then some because I teach a lot of financial literacy classes, and we're not allowed to utilize Google, so I can't access Google Drive or any space.
Okay.
And then forward the email to phone, so you want to respond here, and then you get flagged.
Yeah, because of forwarding.
Exactly. So sometimes I let the IT department know, especially
what you need. Wow.
See that I'm actually forwarding this because we can't work, even though it's still nice. So many years, I would say VPN probably the most that you cannot just simply log to a gate.
You're essentially logging onto a remote computer.
I would Open has to be verified. It's the main analysis that user laptops. So it's a multi-layer authentication. That's it.
Very nice. And
my program actually the multi-factor authentication if we have a password Google. So you would write your email and it would connect to a Google company. So now we have to make sure that it's actually authenticated by private public. So,
and I'm a tech director for schools. Same thing with Google with their domain. So pretty soon we're going to have to do two-factor for all the students. And because right now it was basically a choice, but now we're going to be forced to move to two-factor. And also we have a layer of security over the domain that monitors the domain, that gives us permission for limiting sharing of any type of document outside of the domain if we want to. So like, for example, spreadsheets is like a common one. Like someone might want to flip a spreadsheet. And so student data, like all it takes is like the wrong spreadsheet flipped to a personal account and it can go anywhere. So you're always going to see these multiple layers, especially over anything. And just remember, wherever you work, there's going to be multiple layers of security around, how everything's managed. But hopefully you'll all work in IT someday and you'll know that right away, and you'll be in charge of managing it and keeping an eye on it and tracking it. All right, next question. Very good. That was a good conversation. Here we go. Hardware upgrade decision. A graphic design firm wants to upgrade their aging workstations to handle more demanding software. Students must assess the current hardware specifications, determine the necessary upgrades, such as RAM, SSD, GPU, and justify their choices based on performance improvement and cost effectiveness.
With specific on what brand.
So the graphic design firm wants to upgrade their aging workstations. They need something that's going to handle probably more graphics, right? So you must assess this situation, their need to do it, and what are your, recommendations based on the cost effectiveness. All right. So you're thinking about a graphic design firm. They have desktops like this, but probably a couple years older, sounds like, and they're going to upgrade. So what do you need to think about? And they kind of give you some hints here. What would you recommend they upgrade to? And how would those recommendations be justified for performance and cost effectiveness? You could change platforms. That's what I did. You could think about components of the computer that improve certain elements of what a graphics piece of software needs. All right. So we'll take 2 or 3 minutes for this one. So here you're justifying a shift and you're making some decisions. And you want to think about the users and the costs. Cost all the time.
So there's such like it looks like it looks like they got both like the where's any of that before.
So we'll say 2 more minutes. We'll keep this moving. What do you want to do here? How do you want to address it? 1 more minute, starting with you. Blue team. Blue team's going first. We're going to reverse it again.
I mean, we're going to tell whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's thing.
All right. 15 seconds. Do we want a score update halfway through to make people more competitive? Here we go, blue team.
That's it. So considering that like they want to upgrade like all their hardware, this week that was like could be like for one thing like the overall smoothness of it. In terms of like upgrading the SSD with help with access storage capabilities. You can also upgrade the CPU, the processor, just so like it can perform better with the standard. Obviously, like it's a graphics design card, so it's definitely more and Mac well, and then as well we'll just give it like better marking, sort of like gaming or whatever they're trying to do with this. And then also upgrading like other components like the monitors, keyboards, or speech cards for additional like functions with overall systems. But to keep it cost effective, we decided that we would either use furnished like things, or we would just try to like prioritize what we think is like more important. So like if you can just upgrade the RAM without having to get a whole new system or just to go through stuff, then we have to like completely change what we
configure. All right. Good. All right. Red team.
The workstations that handle more demanding software. So we recommend SSDs for file access using I forgot what it was, but I think it's EIMN. So that you can have double within the CPU and get up on the dual processors. So like double CPU. So CPU can actually have a more demanding software, upgrade the graphics cards, late. I don't know specifics, but RTX, some side, it performed well, competition, and that's all.
You good? All right. Yellow team.
So again, you want to upgrade their workstations as they call simultaneously. Really, I'm worried about. So not necessarily to get a new system or waste money on new work. They just kind of prioritize first, obviously, and say exact applications today. We can also go through from what do I need to upgrade more? What in a system feels more open on? And, from there on, just gain, whatever is more older to something more good. I would say, I feel like the RAM, especially processor, are given now. The SSD, obviously speed is more important too. Probably go for maybe either 102 or maybe 1 hard drive. Because you want to balance those speed with also making sure that you have enough storage for your project. So whatever else that you have in the GPU, graphics card, I guess. It's also, or like if you have one that's, doing a good job that, really shake down per se. So yeah. So yeah, again, it's about prioritizing which component.
Green team?
Yeah. So we'll probably use multi-core processors to update RAM card with more graphics card. Again, the CPU, which the functionality with all the to also, keep saying that with that becomes supported, you can build it.
Especially if you're building it from the bottom up. Yeah. And I would add to this, it's like if you're depending on the graphic work, Mac or PC, right? Like the M1 chip, without their $3,000 monitor, of course. But that's an instant way to get a processor that is top of line. And then they try to make it easy with the two options of the RAM and checking, just specifications between processor speed across the top, in terms of your buy-in. Because, what you might pay $500 more for in year one, you might end up upgrading after year 3. Like schools are cheap. They don't always have money. They have to be cheap, and we're always upgrading things, but still dealing with the same processor. Sometimes. So, how about Citizens Bank? How have you done any types of upgrades or anything that kind of?
Yeah, I don't set my old IT job. I guess one of the first things to figure out is do you just want to parts or go with the whole system? It's they're quite old. You're probably going to go with something new, and it's a graphic design firm, so ramming and GPU are probably important. When it comes to SSD, one thing to consider is, are they storing everything locally, or is there server and store all their files? Because if it's the case, we don't need to go with anything too big or fancy enough to hold purpose.
And cloud-based applications too, like even Adobe, the install is smaller, but it connects to a much larger suite. Very good. All right, I might have to reboot for some reason this computer froze. So we want to do a score. We want to do a score update. Maybe you're not give them the total numbers, but if you want to give us a little update while I reboot on who's in the lead, who's second, and who's third by color.
That's not specific.
Well, it's better than the score. That's even more specific. So,
It's sort.
blue's in the lead. Who's second? Red, third yellow, and green. Okay. I'm just rebooting for a second. So, Citizens Bank. So, how relevant do you feel like these questions are for entry-level, like IT positions, with students who are taking a certification or thinking about an IT job? Could you guys speak maybe a little bit about the value of these types of questions and what they might be thinking about, before trying to get into the IT field, maybe for the first time?
I think they're good questions that probably get. So we have look at their office, and usually we're going to people knowing what's question. These maybe not fully organizational or related, but issues that people are having that I look for. So I think we can get the separate issues like decisions like that. Also, I really never really did that just to have that knowledge either way was a good foundation. I think they'll also. So
what would you suggest for students who are interested in getting more experience with troubleshooting technology? It's kind of hard for them, especially if they're in a hybrid online course, to sometimes get that type of experience. What would you maybe suggest, from your own kind of experience of learning?
For me, a lot of social different stuff I have. So like, sure, here's great some issues with their computer, the Wi-Fi doesn't work, and knowing how to research how to use how to troubleshoot, solving your fan, look at sharing, looking up things online. There's lots of great resources on YouTube.
Who's your favorite? Where do you go on YouTube?
Watch them all.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
So entertainment, also good information, troubleshooting. So yeah.
Any other guys watch? Where do you guys go for your IT knowledge when you have a question or you read? Sometimes you just
like honestly anywhere. I like how she said like most like can't just like look up things. So no item like where you're talking, where's the sit.
Yeah.
Right from going just progress.
Good tip.
No, it's not where.
Yeah, I was big during the pandemic. I did a lot of Linus because he'll do a lot of different builds. He'll talk very specifically about the hardware, how it goes together. He tests a lot of things, RAMs, processor, different levels.
Their structure.
Yes.
So
Then he had the server fire. If you haven't checked out Linus Tech Tips, it's great. So our next one is a data recovery scenario. So, data recovery scenario. A user accidentally deletes critical files from their computer and has no recent backup. The recycle bin has been emptied. Students should outline a strategy to recover the lost data, discussing the choice of data recovery tools and methods to prevent such incidents in the future. So what do you think? You know what the interesting thing is, though, Adrian, as you said, these questions, no. All the questions had this student piece on the first floor, and I didn't put it. So this is actually how it was everything up to here. So I'm actually giving you more information than you had prior. Right, but you had this before on the first three questions. This part that actually gives you more clues to think about how you're going to address the future too.
Enough.
So, for example, if it helps to keep this open, the troubleshooting methodology, if it helps to keep that open in your response. All right, blue team. Ask me. Blue team's going to give us their 1 minute, solution.
Okay, so obviously the problem with this because so we said that we have to tell but now we have hardware, memory, software issues, and to kind of troubleshoot that, we have to run a diagnostic of hardware and share the hardware, also where the content extractions to kind of test if it's working. I guess try to turn it on, turn it back on, and then if that's the issue, then we try to reinstall the software.
I think to add on to it too, because it's when you're using a graphic application, I think it's leaning more towards that it's like a problem with the memory because you use a lot of memory, so maybe we could also install
more what?
Our memory.
What's it, red? Okay. All right. What's your color again, just for our judge? Red.
Yeah, we can obviously mention.
Tell us everything. Your solution in its whole.
What was red, which is very defining, and the origin. It often occurs when you use graphical details like application. So our steps would be you always get a QR code. So our steps would be to scan the QR code to get more specifics on the problem and see why it is crashing. Or go to the application of the application website, check for a hardware specification.
And the QR code might give you or a specific code to check on the website.
So we figured before we start doing the application, make a backup, check if our GPU for that machine is compatible with the application. But it's not, we would to that.
Very good. Color, Hector, which yellow team?
So obviously the employment. So PC crashes or as the way you open up an app that's spread. It's already on mind of thinking we start, but first you could check to if your system does have at least the required spec. You use set application that way, it's all good there. Again, part to you. And if you are still crashing, that again could be an issue with the graphics card, probably will driver or something faulty inside of it. I also said maybe it's not dead, but it's working just fine. It could be something else, say maybe power supply, maybe not providing enough outlet to the graphics card. And so if that's the case, you would check or just check both components, see if they're working. And if it turns out that they are, then most likely would just be the power supply not having enough wattage. So you can simply tell the customer your system already get power, which gets,
What's your color again? I'm gonna skip my colors. Go for the gold.
so basically I have the same idea.
It's okay, but you get to present it your way, because if you've noticed, everyone kind of focuses a little bit on different parts of the methodology. So they're all in here. So it's okay to repeat certain parts.
That goes, and when this active application is where is the power of the web. So I will try to keep track of the usage of the web to see if it's the one or something. If it's okay, I will try another possibility, which will be the GPU, so to see if it's the one on. And the last thing I'm trying is the power supply.
Very good. Citizens team here, you have any suggestions or thoughts on their responses? Or, I'm sure you've probably seen this in your workplace. What have you seen done in your workplace to solve this? What are they?
Usually plastic issue is the graphics driver. Nothing's for an issue, whether it's a recent update that's maybe a little buggy still or dated. So usually it'll come down to that. So focusing on the graphics as far as good stuff. What will the application?
Right. But good job. Lots of good topics there. All right.